Riders, gather up on the infield for a meeting, please. All riders for today's first session, gather on the infield for a meeting. Along the home straight, riders, please gather up for a brief meeting before we begin today's event. Thank you. Welcome to our online viewers. This is the first session of the Marymoor Grand Prix 2024. We're going to be qualifying the elite men in the sprint tournament today, starting with flying 200 meters. We're going to see a lot from our elite women and our Masters Cat 3 men in the Keirins, as well as we're going to go through the first rounds for them, including the reps. So this is the qualifying round for the finals that will be held during tonight's evening session, which will start at 7 p.m., our second session of the GP. Again, thanks for joining us. We're going to allow our riders to get through this informational meeting. We will start as soon as they are done with the elite men in their qualifier. Please enjoy the show. Of course, if you were to scroll down into the description below, you'll find a link for our full program, which includes our schedule for the full weekend, some riders to look out for, lots of other fun information, including our great sponsors and other fun information about the velodrome. And you can also find the link to our live results folder, velodrome.org/live, the place you want to go if you want to see the start list and results as they get posted and finalized. We'll also be showing the finishing times today for the 200-meter event as they come in. Looking forward to a really great Grand Prix this year. We'll start here shortly as soon as our riders have finished up with their meeting. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, one and all. It is time to begin our first session here for the Grand Prix, which, again, we will begin with this qualifying event for the elite men in the sprint tournament. The flying 200-meter times will be set to help us seed our competition for later today. Riders, your start list begins with Ben Flom, followed by Alexander Brewer and Max Haggard, our first three riders up. Keirin Heats and the draw order, as well as this list for the flying 200 meters, posted at velodrome.org/live. Click the red button at the top of the page if you want to see the start list yourself. Results will also be posted there once they've been finalized into the live folder. Starting here in just a moment will be our first rider, Ben Flom, getting lined up to start from Fell Swoop Racing. Alexander Brewer is on deck, followed by Max Haggard and then Andrew Ford. The Elite Men 200-meter qualifier just about ready to begin here. Our first rider now on track. This is bib number 80, Ben Flom, one of our local competitors for Fell Swoop Racing, to set off the first time today in our sprint tournament. Coming up directly behind him in a moment, Alexander Brewer. On deck is Max Haggard, followed by Andrew Ford and Luis Bonilla. The first time coming in at 12.086. First time coming in at a 12.086 for Flom. Alexander Brewer on track now. Max Haggard on deck, followed by Andrew Ford, then Luis Bonilla. This is Brewer, our second rider. Quick time so far was 12.086 by our first rider. Here comes Alexander as second competitor here today in the qualifier. Max Haggard coming onto track. Andrew Ford now checking in on deck. Luis Bonilla, followed by Jacob Vandervliet. The second time coming in was a 12.327 for Brewer. 12.327 for Brewer. Getting the one to go bell here momentarily, Max Haggard. Wearing the colors of Waterline Racing today, number 76. On their way to the timing tape now. $12.226 for Haggard. 12.226 for Haggard. The fast time of Flom still stands at 12.086. On track now, Andrew Ford, number 81. Checked in is Luis Bonilla on deck. Jacob Vandervliet, followed by Noah Mandow. Andrew Ford getting the bell. Bib number 81 on their way to hitting the timing tape now. Our new quick time set by Ford, 11.435. 11.435. The time coming in for Ford. Now your fast time so far today. This is Luis Bonilla, number 89 on track, followed by Vandervliet. On deck is Noah Mandow, followed by Alex Siegel. About halfway through our list by the time we get to Siegel. Keirin riders should be getting set to go. Good conditions today for a sprint tournament. Pretty warm morning. Not a lot of breeze out here today. Despite the outdoor track disadvantage on getting quick times, this is about as good of weather as we can ask for here for the GP. A beautiful weekend ahead of us. This is Luis Bonilla now getting up to speed. Our fifth competitor trying to beat an 11.435. Our new fast time, 11.349, set by Bonilla. That's number 89 with a time of 11.349. Your new quick time after 5 riders. Vandervliet for the Flying Gorilla team now up and on the track. Noah Mandow checked in to start next. On deck is Alex Siegel, followed by Corey Jamieson. Our next event today will be the Elite Women in their first round for the Keirins. We're just about to get to halfway through our qualifiers here in the Elite Men for the sprints. This is Vandervliet getting the bell. Vandervliet flying with a quick time of a 10.848. Speedy here today for the Flying Gorillas. My goodness. A new quick time today by about a half a second for Vandervliet. Right in the middle of our qualifier and setting a very high bar here. 10.848. Vandervliet heating things up here in the middle of our qualifier. On the track right now is Noah Mandow, number 72. Number 72 getting the bell. Rider from Star Trek Racing coming from the other coast here today to compete. Chasing a 10.848, the fast time today so far. Another quick time today as Noah comes in with a 10.95. A 10.95 for Mandow, number 72. Alex Siegel, number 43, now on track. On deck is Corey Jamieson, followed by Tyler Davies and Wyatt Paul. This is Alex Siegel, number 43, now on track. Bell ringing now for Siegel for the Waterline Racing team. Being reminded that we do keep records on all of the events that are timed out here. Our record holder for this event is going to be at the end of our qualifiers today with a 10.467 back in 2022 is Carlberg. That's the fastest time we've seen here recorded on our velodrome. Again, a 10.467, the record time. Let's check in with Siegel's results. 10.902 for Siegel. Currently good for our second fastest time is Siegel at 10.902. Just off the pace of Vandervliet, who still holds the fast time with a 10.848. Corey Jamieson, number 109, now on track. Checked and ready to start next is Tyler Davies on deck. Wyatt Paul, followed by Mateo Morasis. Chasing a 10.8. Right now the bar set by Vandervliet. Less than a half second off record pace here at the velodrome. We're looking fast today. Here comes another rider from the Waterline Racing team who's brought quite a few to compete here today in the sprint tournament. Corey Jamieson's time, 10.905, a 10.905. That's 3 thousandths of a second slower than Siegel. Currently slotted in for third fastest. Vandervliet, 10.848, still stands at the top of the list right now. Number 50, Tyler Davies on track. Checked in to start next is Wyatt Paul. On deck, Mateo Morasis, followed by your last rider in the qualifier, Andrew Carlberg. Upcoming, the Elite Women Keirin heats. All these upcoming riders expected to be under that 11-second threshold and trying to knock on that 10.5 range or so if they can put out a good time today. Davies does take the quick time now with a 10.798. That's a 10.798 for Davies. Vandervliet will be bumped down into second fastest so far. We've got Wyatt Paul on track. Checked in to start next, Mateo Morasis. Your final rider, Andrew Karlberg. This is number 41, Wyatt Paul for Waterline Racing. Elite Nationals Kilo champion this in recent Elite Track Nationals. Having a good season here and one of our strong competitors for Waterline Racing, trying to bring some speed now here to the sprint tournament. Just under 10.8, the fast time to try to beat. And there's a quick time of 10.519. Blistering speed there from Wyatt Paul. Bringing the speed in all sorts of different ways, and he'll do another quick one here today in the Flying 200. That's about a 0.05 of a second off from record pace. Tough time to beat. 10.519 for Wyatt Paul. Will take over the top of the list. Your final two riders, Mateo Morasis now on track, checked in to start, Karlberg. And then we'll move right on into the Elite Women Heat A with Gilchrist, McKee, Ellison, Buchanan, and Williams. Cheney Doors and Windows team here represented by Morasis, Argentinian national sprint champion, decorated collegiate sprint champion. Was here a week ago with a great contest against Karlberg, and we know he's capable of some good times. Let's see where he comes in today on this qualifier. Morasis with another quick time, 10.603, currently second fastest today. Morasis, 10.603 for number 47. On track, your final rider here in the qualifying event, number 55, Andrew Karlberg. Taking some time away from the track to be with new child. But he's still looking quick. He threw it down last weekend against Morasis in a great finish. We can still see that he's got great competitive spirit. He holds the record in the event, so we know he can put out great times in a Flying 200. And he's got good competition today. Very quick times here posted in the last two rides. Wyatt Paul currently with the top time. Going to be hard to take that one away. It's 10.519. Karlberg's own record time, just 0.05 of a second faster. Difficult to beat. We'll see where he slots himself in. He's going to try and at least knock off Morasis and try and maybe get into that second position, or better yet, take over at the top. Oh, By 5,000ths of a second, your fast time, a 10.514 for Karlberg. Too proud to be beaten the flying 200 meter. This guy, goodness. It's going to be fun to watch these riders come back for more. Your fast time will go to Karlberg by 5,000ths of a second, 10.514 coming in at the official time there. And that'll do it for the qualifying event. You can see the order there. Again, Karlberg taking fast time. Wyatt Paul, your second fastest. Mateo Morasis, our third fastest today. This will be a fun tournament to watch as we go through the rest of the GP. We're going to be lucky enough today to catch some of the sprinting action during this session. We are going to get round one completed. That's going to be after our Keirin heats. Coming up now, the Elite Women Keirin heats presented by Metier and Bikeworks. Heat A coming on to track here shortly. This will be Lucy Gilchrist, McKenna McKee, Jordan Ellison, Tendo Mukhanana, and Annette Williams. On deck, Heat B, Snowbalin, Chen, Tomko, Munro, and Savard. Heat C, Scoville, Darlene, Lingwood, Lothrop, St. Clair, and Wells. If you're here checking out the live stream and watching us live, thank you for tuning in and supporting an athlete and seeing what's going on here at the Velodrome. Don't forget, if you subscribe to the channel, you can leave a chat into the live chat, call out one of your favorite riders, ask a question, or interact with us. We'd love to hear from you wherever you're watching from. Again, thanks for tuning into this broadcast of the Marymoor Grand Prix 2024 edition. We're looking forward to a fantastic weekend. Just got to watch the qualifiers for the Elite Men Sprint Tournament presented by Pyatt Lending Company. Up now, the Keirin heats, the first attempt here for our Elite Women to begin advancing further on in the Keirins today. All of the finals for this first session will be held during tonight's session. Our second session starts at our normal Friday night start time of 7 o'clock. From each of these heats, the pressure's on. Top two advance into major finals. 3 through 6 will go on for the opportunities in the reps to happen later here today. Pacers on the way. Riders in our first heat. Two advancing directly to the major final, rest of the reps. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. And off we go. Draw order determined by random. Before the event started, it's Lucy Gilchrist for the Jerry Baker Juniors. Drawing position number 1. McKenna McKee, Team Novo Nordisk in position 2. Jordan Ellison, number 27, draws position 3. Right in the middle of the lineup, Tendo Mukhanana for triple shot. Draws position 4. It's Annette Williams for Center Cycles. Draws position 5. Already a high stakes environment here in the Keirin as only 2 get the direct nod into the major final round. After that, forced to ride through the reps, which we will hold during this session later on. The second chance ride later during this session. 3 to go. Certainly Team Novo Nordisk's McKee going to be a big factor in today's Keirin contest. The rider in the second wheel spot is someone to watch all throughout this. But also don't forget triple shot Tenemukanana, junior national champion for the Canadian team there. She is also going to be trying to put out a good result today. She's back on the wheel of number 27. That's Jordan Ellison, who's right in the middle between these two very fast finishers in this group. They're hitting the back straight now into the last part here with the pacer, and off goes the lead bike. Everything's underway now as Annette Williams tries to crawl up along the side. Tendo following the wheel. Now McKenna McKee will jump out into the second lane, begin to move along the right line. Overtake at the front just a bit. Here now the second line starting to move a bit faster. Overtake as the bell's ringing. Now McKee is taking charge. Bit of hesitation for the rest of the group to try to jump up to McKee, who's just trying to use enough here not to overspend in the heat. Here now comes the second move as Tendo will find the acceleration hitting turn 3. McKee waiting for some sort of movement behind before she has to put out too much effort. Totally in control. And that'll do it as number 17 will be second across the line. McKee making it look a little bit easy here. We're exciting to see what she's going to do later tonight when she comes back for the major final. Tendo, your Canadian national junior champion. No surprise to see her have a nice result here in the Keirin as well. I misspoke. I did say major final, didn't I? Semi-final round upcoming. Sprint round 1 heats posted. Sprint round 1 heats posted. velodrome.org/live. You can see the start list now for the first round in the sprints. Heat B coming up on track now. It's Diane Snoblin, Kimberly Chan, Ru Tomko, Jacqueline Munro, and Emmy Savard are 5 riders in this group. 2 to advance, 3 riders to the reps. Pacer on its way. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. Burnaby Velodrome Club representing here today right at the front of the lineup with Diane Snoblin. Had a productive GP 1 year ago, back to compete again. Kimberly Chen for Triple Shot Cycling Club, the Speedster Junior. Says her favorite race is a points race, yet she's a national champion in the sprints. This kid can do it all. Endurance to sprints, definitely a youngster to watch out, and she's right near at the front, right on Diane Snoblin's wheel. Local junior for Jerry Baker Jr. is Ru Tomko, number 25 today, is in the 3rd position. Cymet Racing's Jacqueline Munro, number 26, 4th in this group, the rider in red and black. And all the way back wearing bib number 2 for independent riding for Team Canada's Emmy Savard. This is a tough heat here between Chen, Snoblin, and Savard. We got a lot of fast finishers lined up here. If you check the program, you might have read a little bit about Savard as well. Three-time junior national champion in sprint events as well as an elite champ in the team sprint is Savard. So trying to show up here to the GP to start getting some more big results and looking forward to more results for Team Canada in the future. In fact, she's already going to start some instigation here. She moves all the way back from position 5. She's going to start to collapse this race a little bit coming into turn 4. Savard now starting to move to the front, kind of wants to get some open track here with 1 to go. Creeping up on Snowblin, who continues to hold the front position. Chen jumps out of the sprinter's lane, finds the wheel of Savard, trying to follow the lead of the rider in blue. Now around the right side, the Canadian's giving a good jump here. He's going to fight against Snowblin, who's going to lose that front position. It is Savard that's going to take over at the front. Now Chen starting to follow into the slipstream here of the speedster. Savard, now Chen flowing out to the right-hand side, should be able to find this. Chen and Savard look like they're in control of this one. Number 2 and number 14 should get the nod to go straight to the semis. The rest will race again in the reps. Coming up next will be the Keirin heats presented by Greg Cycles for the Masters and Cat 3 men once we complete this third heat for the Elite Women. On track now, this is Tanya Scoville, Kelly Darlene, Jenna Lingwood, Jordan Lothrop, Gabriella St. Clair, and Mackenzie Wells. Pacer getting the signal. And now on their way. Last heat, 2 to the semis. The rest of our riders will be racing again in the reps later in this session. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. In this group of 6, we'll be sending 2 more riders onto that semifinal round. Scoville for the Jerry Baker Juniors, still in the colors of the Rider of the Year jersey, representing our local Open Women 1-2 Omnium today. We know she's got some great finishes and good top speed. She draws position 1, a tough spot here to lead out this strong group. Kelly Darlene, Rice University, they're in the blue, in the second position, wearing bib number 3 today. Jenna Lingwood, Team Mama Bears, the official team on the list here for bib number 7. Position 3 in the lineup. Jordan Lothrop in position 4, wearing that white and blue jersey. Number 21 for GVVA. Gabriella St. Clair draws position number 5. That's bib number 16. It's Mackenzie Wells for Shadow Cycling, back in position 6. Two to go. Scoville still in the lead opposition now as the Pacer pulls away. We've seen both of the previous heats shorten the track a little bit from the back position. We're seeing that a little bit again here as we come into the home straight. Position 6, starting to shorten it down a little bit as Shadow Cycling wants to move up a little bit. Lingwood wants some space and can't find it. Number 15 coming alongside, tries to hold Lingwood down for a moment. Lingwood finds a window up over the top and will re-accelerate things. Jordan Lothrop looking quick in the catch here as they find the opportunity to jump out of the group and will join on the effort here. 2 off the front. Should be in control here as you've got Number 7 and number 21, first across the line, Lingwood and Lothrop, out in front of the rest of the group. Official relegation for 15. Okay, correction. The name was correct. The bib number was not. Number 7, Lingwood. Relegation for fighting out of the box there. Contact during the race. The relegation goes to number 7. One of the two up in the front. So that will put the third rider across the line. Will be brought up into the semifinal round. Upcoming now. Masters Cat 3 men presented by Greg Cycles in the Keirin heats. With the relegation, that will be bib number 12, Scoville. Was third across the line, would get the direct to semifinal. Again, that's 21, Lothrop, and 12, Scoville from the third heat. Six heats today for the Masters 35 plus in our Cat 3 men. Keirin heats as presented by Greg Cycles. One rider advances directly into round 2. Places 2 through 5 will advance to reps. Heat 8, getting the signal to the pacer to go. On the home straight, riders ready. Center Cycles draws position number 1 with Kenny Williams, wearing bib 62. Ben Flom for Fell Swoop in the second position, wearing bib number 80. In the middle of the group, the Jerry Baker Jr. rider, J.C. Pyle, number 127. Jason Madoff for Monster Racing is bib 74 in the 4th spot. That's the rider in green who's kind of bumped out and is starting to reposition here. In the pink for Dyna Racing Team, drew position 5 is bib number 113, Mike Ritter, who will follow the lead of the rider from Monster Racing. Start to reposition himself a little bit, so this race starting to kind of get a little bit more dynamic well before the pacer's out of the way. Pyle will get himself out of that sprinter's lane and will pop up behind Dyna Racing now. So 2 lineups as we come onto the home straight. At 2 to go. A lot of movement here already in our first heat today. Only one rider gets the nod directly to advance. With 6 heats, one rider. So winning these heats would be a great boon to these competitors as they're going to get one less race in them. Save their legs for the important finishes. They're going to need them later. Williams in the lead position still as the group begins to reposition once again. Now as Pyle starts to make his move along the blue line. Ritter thinks he might be able to follow on a wheel. Pyle takes over the front. He jumps down in front of Williams. Good speed here into turn 1. Williams, no response yet. Ritter watching this one roll away. Flom's trying to get back up onto speed here and see what he can do with it. One rider advances, and Pyle, with that jump out of turn 2, should be totally in control here. He's watching for how much effort he needs. Still in a good spot here. And it will be Pyle across the line officially. Flom on a good effort to catch. Heat B now coming onto the track. On deck, Heat C, Waterman, Mursky, Green, Romero, Campbell, Harris. Round one of the sprints, again, is posted, velodrome.org/live. Results and start list posted throughout the day, velodrome.org/live. The red button at the top of that page. And Pacer gets a signal. Heat B, one more to advance directly into that second ride. The rest of our riders into the reps. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Scott Vincent for Dyna Racing is number 56 today and draws position number 1. Matty Hers for the coefficient of speed, number 44. In position 2, Gabriel Takagi. Position 3, Jerry Baker Jr. rider, number 96. It's Andrew Martin for 10 Speed Hero. Draws position number 4, wearing number 67 today, and it's Alex Hui in position 5. Bib 121, our 5 riders here in this group. Only one going to advance directly. Everyone else gets that second chance ride in the reps. Our second of 6 heats now underway. Seeing 3 to go. Now seeing 2 to go. Pacer out of the way, and now the race fully in control of Vincent at the front. The rest of the group still lined up behind him. No change in the order since the draw. Bell's ringing. Takagi comes out of the sprinter's lane, a little bit of movement, no change in the lead order yet. Vincent's still sitting on the front. Acceleration will come along the blue line. Here comes Takagi. Right on his wheel is Martin, who should be able to find a good jump here. It's going to be the junior versus our rider from 10 Speed Hero. It's going to be 1 versus 1. Martin looking like he has good closing speed, should have enough, and it will be Martin over Takagi by 1 bike length as they hit the line. Heat C coming on track now. On deck, Heat D with Quadrado, Narome, Herink, Andrew, and Adams. This is now Heat C, our third of 6. If you're out here joining us in the park, thanks for coming in and checking out what we're doing here today. This is our first session of the Marymoor Grand Prix, our annual high-speed racing, the fastest racing on 2 wheels here in the Pacific Northwest. We brought in some great talent. We've got a lot of riders making the trip from out of town to make the racing good here in Redmond, Washington. Today is starting off with these qualifying rounds for both the sprints and for the Keirins. The Elite Men have already completed their qualifying event in the 200 meters. Currently in the middle of our first set of rides for these Keirin heats, both for our Elite Women and these Masters and Cat 3 men you're currently watching now. The conclusions for all of these will happen during tonight's Friday night racing. Pacer getting the signal. You can catch the conclusion during tonight's racing, which starts as a regular start time of 7 p.m., our second session tonight. You can find the program with all of our schedules and more information online, velodrome.org/live. Get back to the racing action now as Heat C, Pacer is on its way. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders, ready? Eric Waterman for Dyna Racing, wearing bib number 63 today in position 1. Logan Mirsky, position number 2, wearing bib 97. Jordan Green, wearing bib 86, is the rider in the middle, position 3. Luke Romero, bib number 112 in position 4. It's James Campbell Harris of Aerotech Racing, position 5, wearing bib number 111 today. One rider to get the nod directly into the next round. Everybody else to the reps. So far, it's JC Pyle from Heat A, Andrew Martin from Heat B that get the direct nod so far. The rest of our riders will go through the reps to see how much further they can make it today in our Keirins. And the race now under control of the group here as our Pacer pulls off on the back straight. Waterman still at the front of the group, watching over his right shoulder right now, looking to get some movement behind him. As Mirsky begins to reposition himself, most of the group moving out to the middle, the blue line being taken over to the back half of the group as here comes Campbell Harris to shorten the group up a little bit. He comes up to the front right alongside of Waterman. Campbell Harris taking over the front. Jordan Green's trying to follow the wheel here. Campbell Harris looking around thinking, do I need to keep going? Jordan Green's going to challenge him here though. Campbell Harris still on the front. Green wants to take it from him if he can. It's Campbell Harris. Ooh, it'll be Campbell Harris for Aerotech Racing, it looks like. Gets it. Jordan Green made him work for it, though, all the way to the line, as it looked like he might have gotten away from the group out of turn 2. Nice job to shorten the race there at the 1 to go mark. Joining the likes of JC Pyle, Andrew Martin. Campbell Harris will be your first rider across the line from Heat C. Here comes Heat D, 4 out of 6 on deck. Heat E, Malikian, Lovelholes, Tomko, Tanaka, Arnoldi. Pacers getting the signal. Heat D, one more rider to advance into the second round, and here comes the Pacer on to the home straight. Riders ready. Number 91 draws position 1 in the group. That's George Quadrado of Outpost Richmond. Flying Gorilla brings Kunomasa Nerome, number 105 in the second position. Right behind him, Tom Herrick for the local Jerry Baker Juniors team, bib 107. Thomas Andrew is number 51 in the 4th spot in this group, and at the back will be Nolan Adams, another local rider for the Dyna Racing team, number 66. Group getting up to speed here. Right all the way from Outpost Richmond here. George Quadrado still in that first spot. No change in the order since we saw them start. Been an unknown quantity for me personally is that rider 105 for Flying Gorilla Academy. Let's see how that rider in second position chooses to ride it. He's getting ready to close down this gap a little bit that's opened up before the pacer's out of the way. Quadrado's still in the front of it, trying to keep the pace up. In fact, a little bit of pressure there on the pedals. He accelerates. Number 9 and 1 in the front, keeping the pace pretty quick as they come into the home straight. Not even looking over the shoulder, just driving it. There he's looking and seeing. There's a rider from Flying Gorillas, Narome taking over alongside him. But you'll have to go back into the sprinter's lane as Quadrado at the front. Hard to overtake here. Thomas Andrew taking over now. And a good acceleration down the back straight as number 51 flies well up into the front. And looks like he's got this one locked in. Another rider from the Flying Gorilla Academy. It's going to be Thomas Andrew, number 51, it looks like, coming across the line first. Heat E. On deck, your last heat here today. 6 of 6 will be Hyun Lee, Sean Blaney, Wes Pollock, Tack McKeno, and Sam Karp. Those riders are on deck. Currently coming on the track now, Heat E. Coming up after these two heats, we've got the first round of the sprints. Sprint round 1 for the Elite Men, upcoming after these two heats remaining in the Keirins. Pacer gets the move, send off, and off we go. Second to last heat. Heat E now lined up for their start. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. Wearing bib number 117 today. Position number 1 is Serge Malikian. Right behind him, Hans Lovelhose from the Burnaby Velodrome Club is in position 2, wearing bib 83. Daniel Tomko, Center Cycles in the blue, is in position 3, wearing bib 46. And finally, Fergus Tanaka, the Small Monsters Project racing team, is position 4, wearing number 84. Getting 3 to go. Now seeing 2 to go. This is contemplating this heat. I think on paper might be one of our most contested ones so far. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Malikian on the front of this one, leaving a little bit of gap on the pacer right now. Our Burnaby rider, our Lovelhose right in his wheel. Look for the acceleration on this home straight to start pretty early, as now it's going to be Tomko moving out of the sprinter's lane. Doesn't want to wait for this for too much longer. 1 to go. Here comes the 400-meter effort here to close down the race. Flattening out into turn 1. Lofelholz, Tomko right alongside Malicki, and now here comes Lofelholz to take back over the front. Tomko will get back on the wheel of that one. He's going to follow Lofelholz down the back straight. One rider gets the direct nod, and it looks like Lofelholz does have enough speed here to overtake and take over at the front entirely on his own. The rest of the riders will race again in the reps. Final heat for the Masters in Cat 3 men. Keirin heats presented by Greg Cycles. Coming now to their start line. Heat F. On deck, round 1 for the sprints upcoming. Pacer gets the signal. One more rider to find out here who's going to get the nod directly into this next round. Pacer on its way. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Hyun Lee from Dyna Racing Team, bib number 104, draws that first position right behind the Pacer. Sean Blaney, position number 2, bib number 93 today. West Pollock in position 3, wearing bib 98. Tak Makino for Team Atomic Racing is in position 4, bib 60. And finally, Sam Karp, Coalition Cycling, draws position 5, wearing bib number 124 today. One of our 5 riders will join 5 more that have gotten the direct nod into that next round. Save yourselves one effort today. Try to get the advance here. Skip the reps. On deck will be Davies and Brewer in this first round of the sprint tournament. Vandervliet and Haggard to follow. Two to go. Pacer will exit on the back straight. Pacer exiting in the middle of the back straight, and off we go. It's Hyun Lee still in the lead position here. Coming through the turn, no change of position throughout this race. There's our one to go. Still waiting for the full jump here. Things starting to look a little bit busy at the back half. Still Lee on the front of the group. Looks like Atomic's going to send forth Tak Makino now into a big attack through the back straight there, overtaking significantly into turn 3. And now in control of the finish. That's number 60, Makino for Atomic. Coming across the line first, looking very quick there in the second half of that last lap. And that'll do it now for our first round for these Keirin riders. We'll post results and get ready for more racing later. The reps to be held here during this session. Riders in the sprint tournament, we're doing round one starting now, our first heat. Davies and Brewer will be coming up here momentarily. On deck, Vandervliet and Haggard, followed by Siegel and Flom. Calling Brewer. Sprint round one now beginning with this first ride. This is for our Elite Men Sprint round one presented by Pyatt Lending Company. Tyler Davies, number 50. The rider in black with the white helmet, currently in the second position there. Alexander Brewer, the competition here, the rider with that orange helmet right in front of him. Pretty similar silhouettes from the opposite side of the track, especially considering the equipment so similar. But you can see the difference again is Davies with the white and black helmet, Brewer in the orange helmet. Davies with the quicker time in qualifying, seated quite a bit higher in this tournament and has the significant advantage in this matchup just based on that finishing time. One ride here in this first round to continue on in the tournament. This is Brewer now in the front position, still leading the lap as the bell's ringing. Davies will come up alongside and will assume the control in the middle of the track now. Actually goes all the way down to the sprinter's lane. Both riders kind of casually find their space down there. Side by side is Brewer and Davies now as Davies controls the shorter part of the track. Davies shoulder and shoulder with Brewer as they hit turn 3. Davies is going to just try to use top speed here. Nothing too fancy. He's got the short lane and just has to put up enough power to finish, and that'll do it. Needs to save it for the later races. Races it just fine here in that first round. Let's keep it rolling here with our next group is Vandervliet and Haggard. On deck is Siegel and Flom, followed by Jameson and Ford. Our last heat will be Mandow and Bonilla. Number 76 takes over the front. That's Max Haggard. The Waterline Racing team colors today. Blue with a white helmet. Repping from Flying Gorillas, Jacob Vandervliet. Bib number 49. Haggard, no surprise here, wants to accelerate it pretty early. Might just be making the full move here, as this is a big difference in their finishing speed from the qualifying, and Haggard is known for his enduro efforts here at the track. But now I think as he's being caught here, one to go. A tough order here as Flying Gorillas finds the wheel, just needs to wait a little bit longer to make the jump at the line. And he won't even wait that long. He's gonna go and take over the front now on the back straight. Vandervliet. Haggard brings it up to speed and then drops off the sprinter for his finish. Here comes Vandervliet to advance and continue on. Your third heat now coming up in this round one for the Elite Men Sprint Tournament. It's Alex Siegel, number 43 for Waterline Racing, lined up down in lane one next door from Fell Swoop Racing. Number 80, Ben Flom. Three riders did get the fast enough time here to sit out during this first round. So we got three riders waiting for later rounds in the tournament. Karlberg, Paul, and Marassus, your three riders that get to sit this one out based on their qualifying time. 5 heats, one rider continues. That'll leave 8 in our tournament so we can carry on in normal fashion. This is now Siegel, the rider in blue. Another one of our local riders and one of the coaches for the J. Baker Juniors. Quick finisher here today, getting put up against Ben Flom, another local rider for the Fell Swoop Racing team. Siegel playing a bit of the care on the stick here, looking to get the jump out of Flom. Not allowing him a lot of freedom and movement from that second position right now as he continues to kind of take charge at the front with that rear wheel. Moving around in position to hold Flom a little bit off of the aggression. And now as they come onto the home straight, Siegel takes the sprinter's lane, looking over the right shoulder to do just enough to hold on here, and he'll do as expected, does a nice ride here, and will advance to race again. By the qualifiers, we're expecting a few of these rides to get a little tighter here as we go along. These next couple we've got here and might be of interest as we got Corey Jamieson, Andrew Ford matched up here in this next heat. Our final heat, Noah Mandow and Luis Bonilla will be our last rider up here in this round one of the Elite Men Sprints. That's Andrew Ford, number 81, down in lane 1. Corey Jamieson, bid number 109, in lane 2. 2 heats remain, 2 more riders to find out who will make it into this tournament. Bib 109, Jamison with the faster qualifying time, but the difference between these 2 riders is not quite as significant as our earlier heats. Andrew Ford looking for a way to upset. That's the rider currently in front. Reminder, of course, for the walking pace for the riders. We're getting a little bit of reminders from the officials for the forward movement. Jamison takes over at the front. Ford maybe exacerbating the issue a little bit there with the slow speed on the back straight. A change in position, maybe what Ford was looking for. He'll assume a different position quickly, though, as now they're side by side almost here onto the home straight. And here comes Ford up to the high position at the blue line.
Last heat needs to check in. Noah, Louis. Over here, draw for positions. Last heat, Noah, Louis.
Down the back straight, side by side. Ooh, the reacceleration now coming from right from Wideline Racing. Lost some ground as he headed into turn 3, but he's taken back over and should be able to hold on to the finish. He will. Jamison. Noah Mandow looking for Star Trek Racing. Louis Bonilla, number 89, lines up in lane 1. Taking on Noah Mandow, number 72, out along the rail in lane 2. Elite women, our Keirins are coming back here shortly. We're just about to finish up this first round. Elite Men Sprint, so last heat now on track. Rep start list posted. First rep, Williams, Ellison, Munro, Wells, and Darlene. Heat B will be Gilchrist, Snoblin, Tomko, St. Clair, and Lingwood. Our last heat here, about to get the one to go to Bell, as riding side by side here. By the numbers, could be a good one between these two riders, qualifying very close to each other. Star Trek at the front right now with number 72. Bonilla on his wheel. It's the rider from Star Trek with a slightly faster finishing time during the qualifying event today. Still at the front, waiting for the jump now, both riding the rail. We haven't seen this position, surprisingly, yet, as there hasn't been a lot of close matchups. I think both these riders expecting this one to be a bit closer. And riding this one a bit closer to the chest, all the way down to the flat of the back straight, still no acceleration. Here comes the jump for the second rider. He's got the short lane. Mano trying to come up to speed alongside of him. This is a good position, though, for Bonilla, who should be able to hold the speed coming, whoa, onto the home straight. Star Trek recovers in the end, despite the movement there in turn 4. That's an official's warning for number 89 for exiting the sprinter's lane while the sprint was engaged. That's an official's warning to Bonilla for exiting the sprinter's lane while the sprint was engaged, impacting another rider's progress. Reps for the elite women. We're bringing back up the reps now for our elite women Keirin, presented by Bikeworks and Metier. This is Williams, Ellison, Wunrow, Wells, and Darlene coming up now. On deck, Heat B, their second attempt race for Gilchrist, Snowblin, Tomco, St. Clair, and Lingwood. After this, into the reps for the Masters and Cat 3 men. Our last event during the session, we have the quarterfinal round for the sprints. We'll get that all posted up. Helping us set up for the exciting finish for all of this here later today. Again, the finals for the Keirins and the sprints all during tonight's Friday night racing. That'll start at 7 o'clock. If you want to catch the finish, don't miss it. Tonight we'll be streaming and, of course, bringing the action here to folks in the park at 7 o'clock. Friday night racing. We'll have the conclusion of all this. Signal for the pacer. On their way. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. So the way this works out is we need 12 riders to continue forward into our Keirins. We'll end up eventually with 2 groups of 6 for the major and minor final once this is all said and done. We started with 3 heats and advanced 2. There's 6 of our riders. We need to find 6 more. 2 reps out of each will advance 3 riders. So top half of the group essentially will get to race again. But they had to get here by racing twice. So a little bit extra effort spent here to go through the reps just to make it on to the rest of this event. This is Annette Williams, number 4, draws position number 1 in this group. Jacqueline Wunrow for the Assignment Racing team in position 2, wearing bib number 26. That's the rider in black and red. Right in the middle of this group, that's a rider from Shadow Cycling. Mackenzie Wells had a pretty active heat. Interesting to see what she can do here in this rep to ensure she continues on in the race. Kelly Darlene, Jordan Ellison also here making up the back of this lineup. More than half the riders do get to continue on, so now the move here from the pacer out of the way. Williams still at the front. Now here comes that rider from Shadow Cycling, starting to reposition very similar to what she did in the heats. Through turns 3 and 4, moves up alongside at the red line. Out the bell ringing. 3 riders to continue racing. Here comes Shadow Cycling into the full attack. 15 now in the lead of the effort. Williams responding well here, trying to hold on as things are starting to pull apart at the back half of this group. We're already starting to see a group of 3 forming at the front. This might be our 3. Darlene does not want to be left out, though. She'll make the jump from the back, seeing if she can make this bridge happen. But it looks like the front three is starting to pull away, as it looks like these three riders will get their shot to continue on. One row, Williams and Wells, the three riders, I believe, that will get that nod to continue on. Here comes your second rep ride for the Elite Women. Now, following this, the Masters and Cat 3 men in the reps. Our second of two reps now coming up. After this, straight into the Masters and Cat 3 men reps. The first one will be Flom, Blaney, Malikian, and Adams. Pacer gets a signal. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. Gabriella St. Clair taking over the front. Number 16 is drawn position number 1. Lucy Gilchrist. Pardon me, that'll be in position 3 for Gilchrist. It looks to be Ruth Tomko in the second spot, if I'm not mistaken. Diane Snoblin, wearing bib number 22 today, is in position 4. Jenna Lingwood, bib 7. Drew position 5 at the back of the lineup. Three to go. You may recall rider 7 at the back getting to this position through relegation, looking strong in the heats, but getting there didn't work out today due to the relegation. Has to race again in the reps, so certainly a favorite here in this group from speed. Was well off the front of their group earlier today. Let's see what she can do here in this group of 5 during the reps, looking for 2 more to likely follow her wheel. Now 2 to go. No changing of the order just yet. Everything all lined up here. Is also Snoblin at the back of this group, number 22, who's got, I'm sure, eyes on trying to make sure she continues on in the Keirin today. Our Texan, Gabby, right at the very front, is now in control. One of our younger competitors in this group, another junior rider. In fact, the front of this whole rep is quite youthful, as we've got 2 of our local juniors also in position here. Who will make it in at 1 to go? Rue waiting for movement. That's number 25, just above the red line. Nothing seen yet. Now the rider from Texas off the front continuing to take over at the front. Not getting challenged just yet. Now Snoblin begins to accelerate out of turn 2. That'll bring the invitation for Lingwood to get into full sprint mode. And Gilchrist with a nice jump here. That looks like your separation of 3. I think that's already pretty much settled here. Let's see how these riders finish it out, but it does look like 2 have started to fall off the pace a bit. Here's Snoblin, Lingwood, and Gilchrist through the reps will continue on through the Keirin. Now, very different here in the reps for the Masters Cat 3 men, as we have 6 rep rides upcoming. Only 1 rider from each of these heats will also get to advance in this very important second chance ride. We found 6 in round 1. We'll find 6 more out of the reps, 1 from each of these rep rides to advance. We'll bring our first group up now. This is Heat A. For the Masters Cat 3 men, Keirin reps, presented by Greg Cycles. Pacer gets the signal and on their way. One rider to continue on in this Keirin event. The reps for the Master and Cat 3 men just about ready to start. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Serge Malicki in lane 1, number 117. Right behind is Sean Blaney, number 93. Nolan Adams in the gray jersey is in position number 3, wearing bib 66. It's Ben Flom, number 80 for Fell Swoop, in position 4, the rider in orange. If you're new to watching this sport, the Keirin, our pacer takes this group around for 2.5 laps. If you haven't noticed, their general job is to accelerate the group gradually and comfortably through 2.5 laps, bring that whole group up under the power of that e-bike. Thanks to Greg Cycles for hooking us up with this great pacer bike solution that we needed a few years back. After 2.5 laps, they're brought up to a good speed. And she'll pull off the pacer on that back straight. Oh, we got a flat, speaking of the pacer. Racing is neutralized. Riders. That's a first. Slight delay in the program here as we'll try to get the tire on our pacer bike reset and ready to go. Be back with you shortly. We'll restart that Keirin once we are ready. Take a short break here and we'll be back as soon as we're ready to restart the reps for the Masters and Cat 3 men in this Keirin event. Again, we need to take just a moment for our pacer bike and we'll be back with you shortly. Might be close to our restart here. We are going to take the pace around a little bit, make sure everything's good to go, and we can recall our reps back up for the restart shortly. So stand by for that call. Again, we're checking out the pacer right now on the track, making sure it's all good to go. Thank you for your patience. Reps for the Masters, Cat 3 men. We'll call you up here shortly as long as our equipment checks out. All right, let's bring back up our first rep for that restart. Thank you for everybody's patience. Here we go, right back into it. Heat A with Flom, Blaney, Malikian, and Adams coming back up for their start. On deck is Heat B, Takagi, Meidhoff, and Karp. Followed by Heat C, Green, Huey, Ritter, and Lee. Pacers got the signal. And they're on their way. Here we go. The reps. Masters, Cat 3 men. Keirin reperchage round. First heat. Presented by Greg Cycles. Just about ready to start back up. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. We'll reintroduce ourselves, reacquaint ourselves with the riders. Serge Malikian draws position number 1, wearing bib number 117 in the dark gray with that white helmet. Right behind is Sean Blaney, number 93 in the all-black kit minus the white shoes and socks. We've got Nolan Adams, Dyna Racing in position 3. And finally, Ben Flom, number 80 for Fell Swoop in the position 4 in this group. As a reminder, these riders are their second attempt here to make it onto the next round, and only one rider will advance from each of these rep rides. 6 advancing from the first round. In total, we'll get 6 more out of these 6 heats. Just one rider at the front of the group to continue on in the Keirins today. The remainder of the Keirin racing to occur during tonight's evening program. That starts at 7 o'clock. Friday night racing right here. The second session will be the rest of Keirin racing, of course, as well as the final rounds for our Elite Men Sprint Tournament. We do have one more round for the Sprint Tournament upcoming. The quarterfinals will be our final event today during this session, and they'll come up after these 6 heats have concluded in this reperchage round. Currently, this group about to be without the pacer, and off they go. It's now Malikian at the front. Coming into the bell, Malikian still on the lead of the lap. He's got open track. He's just going to go full speed here. Nobody in a challenging position just yet. You can see Sean Blaney's holding on to something. He looked over the right shoulder, waiting to see if someone was going to challenge him. No one came into view, so he's off and away. Ben Flom making a good second run at it as well. Ooh, look at this. Fell Swoop's not going to give up on the fight here. It'll be Sean Blaney, number 93. Takes over on the back straight and holds on all the way around the track for the advanced move there. We'll see more from one rider in each of these groups. Heat A, of course, Blaney, number 93. Here comes Heat B. Takagi, Meidhoff, and Karp coming up onto the track. On deck is Heat C with Green, Huey, Ritter, and Lee, followed by Heat D. Cuidado, Romero, Hurds, Williams. And Pacer's getting the signal. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Former riders here to find one to advance from this group. Monster Racing's got Jason Meithoff, number 74, in the front position. Gabriel Takagi, number 96, in the second position for the Jerry Baker Jr. team. Sam Karp for Coalition Cycling is bib 124 in position 3. Pardon me, in position 4. Right in front of him is actually 105 in the third position. That's Kunimasa Narome for Flying Gorilla Academy. Just one speedster from this group to advance. This, of course, still in the qualifying rounds, really. The setting up of the excitement and the drama tonight. It is the Marymoor Grand Prix, our fastest racing of the year, and we've got some great talent here at Redmond, Washington to make tonight really fun. If you want to make sure you catch those great finals tonight for the main event, Friday Night Racing, again, starting at 7 o'clock like it always does every week here. But this promises to be one of the better nights of racing you will catch all year long here at the Velodrome. Don't miss it, as the GP always promises great finishes and exciting racing here. This is all about setting up the great finishes we're going to see later on today. We need to get a great group of riders ready for this Keirin contest. We had a lot of racers sign up. We're now whittling it down to just the top 12. These reps, these riders have already tried to race once. They didn't make it in their first attempt. They got one more try. Only one rider to make it up here, and here we're going up to speed. Monster Racing starting to lead things out a bit here as the bell's ringing. Ooh, here comes Flying Gorilla at the blue line. Nice acceleration over the finish line. Narome trying to take over the front. He'll take the lead spot now. Here comes Takagi for the Jerry Baker Jr. is running at him as well. It'll be Takagi starting to overtake now. The second attack finds the good timing. The junior coming around the corner trying to take over. It looks like Takagi's got a good finishing speed here. The junior will advance. Number 96. We'll see more from in this Keirin tonight. Pacer on the way. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready. Ritter, number 113, draws position 1 and will take over behind the Pacer first. Number 121 is Alex Huey, draws position number 2. Hyun Lee, also for Dyna Racing, in the 3rd spot. It's Jordan Green, bib number 86, in the 4th position, in our lone white helmet in the group, standing out against the other jerseys. Again, another rep ride, 1 rider to advance as we continue on this Keirin event today. We have 3 more heats following this one. Quarterfinals for the sprints to follow. That'll be our final event of this first session before we take recess and allow ourselves to gather our thoughts, prepare for a fun and fast Friday night, including the Kitty Kilo, the Marymoor Crawl, and of course the conclusion of these great races and more, as well as we got elimination racing, we've got some scratch racing, points racing, and of course we'll end with a Madison. It's going to be a great night. Food trucks, beverage garden, the big show here on a Friday night like we always have, plus of course really exciting finishes that we get to watch and be a part of. So if you're here just checking this out, you're on your daily stroll here through the park, the Velodrome's got a good one for you tonight if you want to come back and join us. 2 to go. Small snap there from the front, but it will be Ritter closing back in on the Pacer as they hit the back straight, and now Ritter at the front and off into the lead of this one. Jordan Green all the way to the back, starting to kind of come up a little bit out of the line, thinking maybe of repositioning, but no movement yet. Everybody's looking around waiting as 1 to go. Here comes the move from the front. Ritter will just take open track and go for it. At 400 meters left, here comes the move from Alex Huey. Looked fast in his last ride, but barely beat. Not surprised to see him take total charge in this particular rep, and off he goes. He's looking for a challenger underneath. He just doesn't really see anything there. Jordan Green's thinking about riding against him, but I think the gap is too big on the back straight. A really nice jump of acceleration for Huey as he'll get the nod, and we'll race some more in the Keirin later today. Bib number 105, Narome rode in Heat B in error and will be requested to race again in Heat E, the correct heat. Bib 105, Narome, your posted heat is Heat E. On deck, Heat D coming up. Excuse me, Heat D on track. On deck is Heat E, Tanaka, Narome, Mursky, and Vincent. Your final heat, Heat F, Pollock, Tomko, Herink, and Waterman before we get back into the Elite Men Sprints quarterfinal round. Pacer getting the signal. Heat D now on track, on deck. Heat E followed by Heat F. In the reps, 1 more rider to find from this group to join our eventual group of 12. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Kenny Williams, number 62, takes over at the front. Right behind him is Matty Hers, coefficient of speed, number 44. Luke Romero in bib number 112 is the rider in position 3 with the final spot in our group with that maroon colored jersey. For Outpost Richmond is George Cuidado. Your 4 riders here in the rep. Cuidado coming to us from being the current 2024 Endurance A leader at Rock Hill Velodrome. An individual pursuit us trying to make his place here in the Keirin. Had a pretty good looking heat. Didn't quite get to the front of the group, but he's all the way at the back of this rep ride. We'll see how our rider from Richmond, Virginia can throw down here with this group. 2 local riders at the front. We see them weekly here on the Friday night racing program between Williams and Hers. Pacer now off the way. Let's see who our next rider to make it into this Keirin event will be. On the home straight as Williams continues to lead it. Bell ringing. Here comes the big move around the riding side. Here comes 91, talking about our rider from Virginia trying to get up into the front of this group. Hers will take over the front now, though. Still not in full attack mode, waiting for some jump behind him. He's looking over the shoulder. Now he'll engage about midway down the back straight. Has a long ways to go still. Cuidado trying to get into position. He's up above the sprinter's lane. Might have been able to get down to that slipstream a little bit longer, but he's going to try and challenge from the red line. Will not have it as Hers, looking strong from the front of the group, will find this one. Number 44. Heat E up to the track. You can already see some of our athletes making their way off as they know that they are all finished up here for this session. We don't have too much left ahead of us here. 2 more heats in this rep round for the Masters Category men, Keirins, and then, of course, the quarterfinal round for the Elite Men upcoming in the sprint tournament. This is now Heat E on track. On deck is Heat F of Pollock, Tomko, Herrick, and Waterman, and that'll conclude it. Pacer got the signal and on their way. Pacer onto the home straight. Riders ready. Logan Mursky, number 97, takes over at the front for this one. The rider in all black, right behind the Pacer. Kunamaso Narome in position 2, bib 105 for the Flying Gorilla Academy. Fergus Tanaka, Small Monsters Project. Scott Vinson for Dyna Racing, position 3 and 4 respectively. That'll be our 4 in this group. Just 2 more riders to advance out of these reps. First rider across the line, of course, to join the eventual 12 that'll be competing tonight in front of the live audience on our Friday night program. Seeing 3 to go. Two to go. Bringing up to good speed here. Mirsky, number 97, draws position number 1 and now finds himself in the lead of this group of 4. Flying Gorilla right on the wheel. Still all lined up single file as we hit the home straight. Bells ringing, 1 to go. Mirsky continued to lead out the effort. Just trying to ride this thing essentially as a 500 meter. Here comes Nerome above the red line, and he brings with him, it looks like our rider from the Small Monsters Project is Tanaka right there alongside, and he should be able to find the second effort and overtake onto the home straight. And it looks good for Fergus Tanaka, who looks like they'll be in control of this one. Number 84, first across the line. We'll race again later on tonight in the Keirin. We got one more rider to find in this for the Masters Cat 3 men. First, our Keirin's brought to us by our good friends at Greg Cycles. We'll get to see the great conclusion for this one during tonight's program. One more rider to advance to the next round. On deck, quarterfinal round for the sprints. Pacer got the signal and on their way. This is your final heat today for the Keirins. At this point, the Keirins will be all finished up until we get to see more of them later on. Karlberg and Mandow on deck, followed by Paul and Jameson as we bring back the sprints. Pacer on the home straight. Riders ready? '46 in the blue is Tomko. For Center Cycles, draws position 1. Dyna Racing, Eric Waterman right behind in position 2. That's rider wearing pink. In the green is Wes Pollock. Bib number 98 for that rider. Tom Herrick for the Jerry Baker Juniors. Number 107 draws position 4 in this group. Only pays to be at the front of these races. Last chance here in the Keirin for this second chance ride. Group seeing 2 to go. Don't be surprised to see Center Cycles drive from the front here pretty strong. This is not a bad position usually for Tomko to compete from. Open track right in front of him. He's going to keep it pretty quick here. No attacker on the corner just yet. Things are going pretty fast here at 1 to go. And there it is. We'll open up from the front. You got to come around the rider in blue to take over this race. And here we go now through the turn. Paul coming out of the sprinter's lane, trying to come down and to control it down the back straight, is starting to make advances up to the front. The rider in green coming up alongside Center Cycles. Ooh, Tomko's trying to hold on from the short lane. Pollock coming into the picture, though, side by side. We got a close one. Tomko, Pollock, Tomko on the inside. We'll hold on all the way around. Center Cycles with just enough. And that'll do it for the Keirins for this session. And what a fun way to finally finish one. That was good. Got a close finish here. Qualifying rounds can be tough sometimes with those exciting finishes. But I'll tell you what, we now found some great top speed competitors for tonight's event. We're going to see a lot more great finishes like that one come a few hours from now. Here comes back up to the track, the Elite Men Sprint Tournament, presented by Pyatt Lending Company, bringing up now in the quarterfinal round. 2 riders here in lane 1 for coefficient of speed. Number 55, Andrew Karlberg, taking on Star Trek Racing's Noah Mandow, number 72, who line up against the rail. Our fastest qualifier of the day, number 55, going up against great sprinting talent here out of Noah Mandow for Star Trek Racing, making his way from the other coast to come here and throw down at the GP. A tough matchup here. Our storied rider Carlberg for coefficient of speed, a record holder for the 200 meters, many-time champ here during the GP and many other events in the sprints. Once Texan, now many years up here. I guess even putting his roots in further. Now recent father. Carlberg's been finding his way back to the track here and trying to get ready for the GP. Of course, we see Star Trek traveling all across the country to compete and throw down in lots of different events. Making their way here once again for another year of GP competition. Mandow is going to have, again, a pretty tough one in this first round as he's put up against our fastest finisher of the day in this quarterfinal round. One ride to determine who our top four will be to continue on into the semifinal round, which we'll get to watch during Friday night racing program. So the next round, the semifinal round, will occur during session number 2. Eight riders remain in this tournament. We got to find our top 4. Carlberg getting the bell at the front, just in front of Mandow, who's sitting just off of his right side of the back wheel. Very calm, very still first lap between these two riders as they hold a pretty consistent tempo and position now through this last 150 meters or so. Carlberg looking at the front wheel of Mandow, who takes the dive underneath. He'll take the sprinter's lane very confidently, in full charge of the sprinter's lane. Now Carlberg has got about 2 bikes between him and Star Trek Racing. This is a big jump. Carlberg's got to close fast. Can he get there? Mandow with the quick acceleration. The jump was so big. It's too much. Mandow plays the move out of turn 2. Brings the bike under great acceleration. And that'll do it for Carlberg. Coming up next, we've got Wyatt Paul and Corey Jamieson, both of the Waterline Racing team. On deck, Morasis and Siegel, followed by Davies and Vandervliet. Lots of great matchups here in this quarterfinals round. It's Wyatt Paul, number 41, lining up in the inside position. 109, Corey Jamieson in lane 2. Our second fastest time during qualifiers belongs to number 41, who sat out the previous round due to the quick time. That's the rider on the inside, Wyatt Paul, down closer to the sprinter's lane. His teammate, Jamieson, they look almost indistinguishable from a distance besides their frame and shape on the bike, wearing the same kit and nearly identical helmets. Very similar kit between the two, but one differentiator for sure is Wyatt Paul's top speed, measured a decent bit higher than his teammates and should have some advantage here. Wyatt moves down to the sprinter's lane. It's starting to accelerate a little bit here. He's feeling the pressure as Jamieson will make the run at him. Good response here from Paul. See if he can get on the wheel. Ooh, this is move from Jamieson is very aggressive. As the bell is ringing, he takes over the front. He's trying to be a little bit sneaky with that acceleration. Now Wyatt Paul getting on the wheel. Here comes that second acceleration. Paul taking over in the second lane, trying to come around. The slingshot, can he complete and execute? He's on his way, looking good. Should be able to hold on in this round, and he will. Wyatt Paul, number 41. Your next ride coming up to the line, Morasis and Siegel on deck. Your final ride for this session, Davies and Vandervliet. Waterline Racing bringing up Alex Siegel in lane 1, wearing bib number 43. Changing windows and doors, Mateo Morasis in lane 2, wearing bib 47. Looking forward to both of these next heats. This quarterfinal round's highly competitive already. Siegel, the rider in front in blue, currently leading the lap. Right behind him is Morasis. The Argentinian national sprint champ, many-time collegiate champ, taking on a Masters national champion himself in Siegel, who's come into form as a strong sprinter in our region, in our area, and continues to put out great performances when he comes out here for our sprint events. Still Siegel in the lead. About a bike or two could fit between them right now as they're moving along the rail on this first lap. Moving it slow through the middle of the turn here. No change in position though. Both riders re-accelerate down the hill temporarily. Siegel looking for maybe a change in position or at least to force some sort of movement on this first lap. Both riders assume the mid position. Morasis dancing a little bit, keeping Siegel guessing from the front. Though Siegel looking to hold on to the front position and maintain pace. Morasis playing coy a bit still in that second spot, looking for an opportunity, sitting in the shadow. Now from the front, Siegel's got an opening here. Morasis with a quick and finishing time, but Siegel's got a closer distance to go. Here comes the slingshot from Morasis coming into the slipstream and up and around the corner, trying to get that finishing kick. Siegel and Morasis. Siegel in the short lane. Ooh, Morasis has enough. A good battle to the line. Morasis had quick speed coming out of turn 4. It looked like Siegel was gaining power back again on that finishing straight, but Morasis had just enough power to finish that one out. And another good one upcoming here. Looking forward to the matchup between Davies and Vandervliet, our final ride of this session. Again, following this ride, we will be taking a bit of a break. We'll turn off the broadcast. We'll give everybody a bit of a rest here. Let our riders reset themselves. Our staff and everybody will come back and be ready for racing at 7. Our second session tonight, 7 o'clock is when the start time is expected. Of course, riders will be here early for their warm-ups. We'll bring the broadcast back to you in a new live stream starting just before racing. Our second session will be one to watch. Here comes your last ride here today, getting lined up for their start. Tyler Davies on the inside, number 50, next to Vandervliet, number 49 for Flying Gorillas Academy. Off we go. So Jubilee cycle rider in black and white takes the front position as he draws lane 1. Both Canadian competitors here coming down south to throw their number in the hat for this sprint tournament today. Getting a reminder from the officials about forward momentum, as they have not gotten all around this first half of this opening lap. Davies on the front. Now, by the numbers again, this should be an interesting one. Not too long ago, we saw Vandervliet throw out a pretty good time on the 200 meters. Today, he comes in with a quicker time than we saw the last time he was at the track, and a nice improvement for him. He's looking fast today. Davies, just about, I think it was a 0.3 of a second faster in the qualifying round. So not a huge valley there between these two riders in top speed. It'll be interesting to see how they match up when it comes to the actual competition here. Both savvy, well-experienced sprinters. Davies up a little higher position on the track. Again, the rider in black and white, number 50. Right behind him in more of that white kit for Flying Gorilla Academy. That's Vandervliet now taking the back position again behind Davies. Movement from the second position up and down track. Davies keeping his eye open on Vandervliet, who's feigning some movement. No aggression yet from either rider. Both kind of moving into that intermediate speed now as they use the bank and threaten the acceleration. Davies has got a big gap here. Why drop it? He's going to roll with it. This is going to make it really tough on Vandervliet. He's got a really big distance to close down. He let that open up too much. And if you let that kind of gap open up and you're at a disadvantage on top speed, how do you come back from that? That's a tough place to be. Davies playing it well through turns 1 and 2 there. Just got a little bit too much space and was able to finish it out. We'll post all results, of course, to velodrome.org/live. You can check the results after this session and make sure everything looks good before tonight. Start lists and all the rest will be put there in preparation for tonight's start as well. We will be back with you at 7 o'clock tonight, our second session. Food trucks, beverage garden, and of course, a great show for us all. We can't wait to be a part of it here. The GP will come back for session number 2. Racing to start at 7 o'clock for the conclusion of the Keirin, the sprints, and so much more to look forward to. We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.